My fiancée never wore her engagement ring to the office. When I finally asked her about it, she shrugged and told me it wasn't professional and that she didn't owe anyone an explanation about her relationship status. I didn't press it too much at the time, just let it slide. That is, until one of her coworkers sent me a group photo from some work event, captioned, "Office's favorite single girl." I didn't say a damn thing. Just sat with it. But 3 days later, I made a move that turned everything upside down. Ever since, she hasn't stopped blowing up my phone, texts, calls, everything begging me to talk to her, to fix it somehow. Looking back, it's strange how I didn't notice it sooner. You'd think a guy would immediately realize when his fiancée wasn't wearing the $18,500 ring he spent 2 long years saving up for. But Christine? She was careful. She had a routine, would slip the ring off and drop it into her purse right before heading out for work, then put it back on the moment she walked back in the door at night. I probably wouldn't have caught on at all if I hadn't surprised her one afternoon by showing up at her job with her favorite sandwich from that little deli across town. That's when I saw it, her left hand totally bare. "Where's your ring?" I asked, setting her lunch down on the table. The question clearly caught her off guard. Her eyes darted to her hand, then back to me. "I don't wear it to work," she said, like it was nothing. "Since when?" I asked. "Since always, Samuel." She started unwrapping the sandwich, avoiding eye contact the whole time. 7 months we'd been engaged, not once had she brought this up. I sat there stunned. "Any reason? Is it uncomfortable? Hard to type with?" I tried to sound light, but my brain was already spinning with darker thoughts. "It's just not professional," she replied, waving her bare hand around like it was no big deal. "Honestly, I don't owe anyone at work my relationship status. It's just easier if things stay professional." I let it go right then and there. Didn't want to come off like some jealous, possessive guy throwing a fit at her workplace. But the whole thing kept bothering me. That evening, as she prepped dinner, I brought it up again. "I didn't realize your office was so strict about jewelry. Kinda weird in 2023, don't you think?" She sighed loud and theatrical before setting her knife down. "Samuel, you're making this into something it's not. Plenty of professional women don't wear their rings at work. It changes how men treat you. I'm allowed to make that choice." "Fair enough," I said. I respected her right to do what she wanted, I just wished she'd told me sooner. She rolled her eyes. "Do I need to submit a report every time I decide not to wear earrings too?" And that was the end of that talk. I felt kind of foolish for bringing it up. She, on the other hand, seemed smug about shutting it down. Maybe I would have just let the whole thing go if it weren't for what happened 2 weeks later. I was killing time scrolling through Instagram when I stumbled across a post from Alexander, one of Christine's co-workers I remembered from their office holiday party. It was a group photo, some kind of happy hour thing. There was Christine, front and center, cocktail in hand, laughing like life was perfect. The caption read, "Thursday drinks with the team. Office's favorite single girl showing us how it's done. #workfamily #thirsty Thursday. Single girl." I stared at those 2 words so long they started to blur. Then I zoomed in, just to be sure. Her left hand was wrapped around her drink. No ring. Of course. But it wasn't the missing ring that hit me hardest. It was the way she was being described. She wasn't just skipping the jewelry, she was putting herself out there like she was on the Franket. That night when she came home, the ring was back on her finger like always. She kissed me like nothing had happened. I said nothing. Didn't ask about the photo. I just kept my eyes open. Sure enough, the next morning, just before heading out, I watched her quietly remove the ring again and slip it into her purse. "Have a great day, babe," she called out, the door clicking shut behind her. I stayed seated at the kitchen counter for a long time after she left. We'd been together 3 years, lived together for 2 of them. I thought I knew who she was. But now? Now I wasn't sure what I'd been missing all this time. Later that day, I called up my buddy Eric. He works in the same field as Christine, corporate consulting. I laid it all out for him, kept the names out of it. "That's not normal, man," Patrick said straight up. "I know plenty of married women in the industry. Nobody's hiding their rings for professionalism anymore. This isn't the 60s. "Exactly what I thought," I said. "I don't want to jump to conclusions, but something doesn't sit right." Patrick didn't need to say more. I already knew I had to look deeper. That evening, while Christine was in the shower, I did something I never thought I would. I went through her phone. First time I'd ever done anything like that. I always believed in respecting her privacy. But the ring thing had cracked something open inside me. What I found made my stomach drop. There was a second Instagram account I'd never seen before. An active Tinder profile, last used just a week earlier. And messages, a whole lot of them. Some from random guys, but some from men I recognized, including Alexander from the office. And those messages weren't just friendly. They left no doubt Christine wasn't just acting single at work. She was living it. I took screenshots of everything, emailed them to myself, then put the phone back exactly as I'd found it. When she came out of the bathroom, I pretended nothing was wrong. I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did. For the next 2 days, I functioned like a machine. No shouting. No confrontation. Every evening, she'd waltz in with that ring on like nothing was amiss, kiss me hello, ask about my day, and I'd play along like I wasn't breaking inside. But the whole time, I was plotting my way out. On the third morning, once she'd gone off to work with the ring stashed safely away in her purse, I made my move. Packed up the essentials, loaded my stuff into my truck, and drove straight to the bank. See, I'd been putting away money for our wedding. $42,000 stashed in a separate account, meant for the venue, the food, the honeymoon, all of it. Christine knew about the wedding savings account, but she didn't have access to it. What she didn't know was that just a few weeks earlier, I'd added her name to it, figured it would be a sweet surprise. My plan was to tell her over dinner that weekend, hand over full access so she could start booking the venue, vendors, whatever she wanted. Some surprise that turned out to be. Instead, I walked into the bank that morning and closed the account altogether. Transferred every dime back into my personal account, one she couldn't touch. After that, I drove straight out to my buddy Frank's place. He's got a lake house a couple hours away. Said I could stay as long as I needed while I figured things out. That's when the texts started rolling in. Samuel, what the hell is going on? The venue just called. Said the payment didn't go through. I talked to the bank. They said the account's been closed. Pick up your damn phone. I didn't answer. Just let the notifications stack up while I sat in silence. By the evening, the tone had changed. Samuel, please, just talk to me. I don't know what's happening, but whatever it is, we can fix it. Please call me back. I love you. Don't do this. Next day, she must have gone home during lunch and noticed some of my stuff was gone. That's when the panic hit full force. Did you move out? Without even saying anything? What the hell, Samuel? This is insane. You can't just throw away 3 years like it's nothing. Please. I'm begging you. Whatever this is, let's talk. Still, I said nothing. Just kept collecting the messages and watching how she spiraled. Then one came in that made me sit up a little straighter. Oh God, did someone tell you something? Is this about work? I can explain everything, I swear. It's not what you think. That night, I finally broke my silence. I sent her 4 things. No message, no commentary, just the facts. 1. A screenshot of Alexander's Instagram post. 2. Her Tinder profile, clear as day. 3. A shot of her text exchange with Alexander, laughing about how I was completely in the dark. 4. A photo of my now empty ring box. Her reaction was instant. Phone calls, texts, emails. She even showed up at the apartment, which was technically just hers now. I'd paid the next 3 months of rent before leaving, but I had my name taken off the lease. When she realized I wasn't coming back, she started calling everyone she could think of, my friends, my family, even my boss, crying, desperate, trying to find out where I'd gone. But no one gave her anything. Truth is, no one knew except Frank. And Frank? He's the kind of friend who'd rather chew his own arm off than betray me. 3 days passed with total silence from me. That's when her messages took on a different tone, frantic, scared. My credit card's maxed. I can't even afford groceries right now. I was counting on that account for rent next week. Please, Samuel. I'm scared. Alexander just told me they're letting me go. HR saw the screenshots. Was that you? Did you send them? How could you do this? My parents won't even speak to me. What did you tell them? For the record, I didn't send anything to her company or her parents. Turned out Alexander panicked when he found out I had the texts. Tried to get ahead of it by going straight to his boss and confessing everything. As for her parents, they put the pieces together when she called them in tears about the wedding fund disappearing. Her dad ended up calling me himself. I picked up. Once I explained what happened and sent over the proof, he let out this long, heavy sigh. Then he said something that stuck with me. She's always been her own worst enemy. I'm sorry, son. It's been 2 weeks since I walked out. I've moved into a new place, small, quiet, but mine. Filed to officially end things, clean break. Since we never made it to the altar, there's no legal mess, just splitting a few shared items. I kept the stuff I brought into the relationship. Let her have what we bought together. Seemed fair enough. The ring? It's still sitting in the glove box of my truck. Part of me wants to sell it, claw back some of what I lost. Another part wants to keep it as a reminder. A warning. That even someone who says yes through tears and joy can still be living another life behind your back. Last night, I picked up when she called again. Not because I wanted to fix things, but because I needed closure. "What do you want, Christine?" I asked. She was crying. "I need help, Samuel. I'm being threatened with eviction. My cards are all maxed out. I've got no one else to turn to." I was quiet for a moment, then said, "You had someone. Someone who loved you enough to save for a wedding, to buy you a ring you never wore. And you threw it all away." I could hear her sobbing on the other end. "I made a mistake. I was stupid and confused. But we can fix this. There's no we anymore, Christine. You made your choices. Now you live with them." And then I hung up, blocked her number, poured myself a glass of whiskey, 2 fingers, neat, and finally felt something close to peace. The hardest part of betrayal isn't the lies people tell you. It's the truth they reveal about who they really are. Christine showed me who she was, not with her words but with what she did. And I believed her. A few folks asked for updates, so here's what's happened since. First off, yes, I've got records of everything I contributed to the apartment and the wedding fund. Every transfer, every receipt. No, she can't sue me for emptying the account. I checked with a lawyer before I touched it, 100% in the clear. And yes, the ring is legally mine. In my state, engagement rings are considered conditional gifts. Since she broke the condition, it's mine to keep or do with as I please. After I blocked her number, Christine switched to messaging me through social media. She's been spinning her own version of the story, claiming I financially abused her, that I stole our wedding money and left her with nothing. But folks who know me? They know better. At first, a few mutual friends actually bought into Christine's version of the story. I get it, she's always been good at spinning things when she wants sympathy. But once I privately showed them the receipts, the screenshots, the messages, they stopped defending her real quick. The biggest surprise, though, came out of left field. Alexander's wife reached out to me on Facebook. Yeah, turns out he had a wife. Or I guess I should say, used to have one. She thanked me for unintentionally bringing the truth to light. Said my silent exit ended up exposing a whole web of lies. Apparently, Alexander had been feeding both her and Christine the same tired story. Unhappy marriage, emotionally neglected, stuck in a loveless situation. Classic. But when everything blew up at his workplace, the full picture came out, and not just about Christine. There were several other women. His wife filed for divorce almost immediately, took the kids and moved back in with her parents while she sorted things out. I told her I was sorry she had to find out that way, but she just said, "Don't be." I needed to know. As for Christine, from what I've heard through people we both used to know, she's back living with her parents. Her dad, who I always respected, actually called me again. Said he was sorry for all the chaos and that in hindsight, he and his wife had spent years enabling Christine's behavior. Never really held her accountable for anything. Maybe this is the wake-up call she needs, he said. I appreciated that. It's a tough thing for a parent to admit, but he was honest. I respected that. I sold the engagement ring yesterday. Took a 30% hit on what I paid, but honestly, totally worth it just to shut the book on that chapter. I used some of the cash to finally book a trip I'd always talked about but never made time for, a solo trip to Montana. Fly fishing, fresh air, peace. My new apartment is coming together. It's nothing fancy, but it's clean, quiet, and completely mine. More importantly, it's a space that doesn't feel like a lie. I've been reconnecting with people I drifted from during my time with Christine. Turns out she gradually nudged me away from certain friends over the years. Always had a reason, too negative, too nosy, not good for us. But in hindsight, I think those were the folks who saw right through her. One of those old friends dragged me to his boxing gym a few weeks back. I was skeptical at first, but hitting the heavy bag 3 times a week has been the best therapy I could have asked for. There's something about working out that kind of frustration with your fists that clears your head in a way words never could. I'm sleeping better. My thoughts aren't racing 24/7 anymore. Now, to the folks who say I went scorched earth out of revenge, you've got it wrong. I didn't leak anything to her job. Didn't post screenshots online. I didn't smear her. I just removed myself from a relationship that wasn't real and let the consequences of her own choices play out naturally. The fallout? That was all her. The hardest part has honestly been learning to trust myself again. I kept asking, how did I not see this? How did I miss the signs? My therapist, yeah, I started seeing one, told me that's a normal reaction. We see what we want to see in the people we love until we finally can't anymore. I'm not mad anymore. Just reflective. I'm 39 years old. Thought I'd be married by now. Maybe even have a couple of kids. Instead, I'm rebuilding from the ground up. But for the first time in a long while, I'm making decisions based on what I want, not trying to bend myself to fit someone else's mess. That kind of freedom? That's something I'll guard fiercely. I wasn't planning on another update, but I've had a lot of people checking in. So here's how things have unfolded. Christine's still living with her folks. But from what I hear, her parents finally laid down some boundaries. Told her she could stay, but only if she started therapy and got a new job. Her younger sister actually reached out to me last month. Said Christine's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality traits and is finally getting help. That's not my business anymore. Not my circus, not my monkeys. I genuinely hope she finds peace, but I'm out of that story now. Alexander, meanwhile, is deep in a messy divorce. His soon-to-be ex's lawyer contacted me for a statement. Just asked for factual information, dates, context, what I saw. I gave them exactly that. No opinions, no rants. Just the truth. Turns out their prenup had a clause barring either party from discussing the marriage outside the relationship. Alexander broke it wide open when he started pouring his heart out to Christine and apparently others. His ex sent me a handwritten thank you note last week. Actions. Consequences. As for me, life's better. Simpler. And mine. That Montana fly fishing trip? Exactly what I needed. A full week surrounded by mountains, rivers, and zero cell service. Felt like I exhaled for the first time in months. The boxing gym is still part of my weekly routine. I've dropped 15 pounds of emotional baggage and gained some muscle I haven't seen since my early 30s. My head feels clearer. My body feels lighter. Work's going great. I got promoted last month. Maybe it would have happened anyway, but not having to manage Christine's chaos every day has definitely helped me refocus. As for dating, not yet. I've had chances. Good people have shown interest. But right now, I'm choosing to be by myself for a bit. Learning how to be alone without feeling lonely. My therapist says that's a healthy step, and for once, I'm actually taking professional advice instead of just powering through. Some of the money from the ring also went to a photography course I've always wanted to try. Turns out I've got a decent eye for landscapes. It's become a weekend ritual, camera in hand, hiking some trail, focused on light and shadows instead of heartbreak. Last week, I ran into Christine. Of all places, a grocery store. First time I'd seen her face-to-face since I walked out. She looked different. Thinner. Less put together. No makeup, no bravado. She walked up slowly and asked if we could talk sometime. I told her I was glad she was getting help, but I didn't see the point in digging up old wounds. She nodded. No argument. Just a kind of quiet acceptance. As I turned to go, she said something that stayed with me. I never deserved that ring. Not because of what I did, but because I never appreciated what it meant. For once, we agreed on something. So that's it. The final chapter. To everyone who followed this wild ride, thank you. Your support, your messages, and your own stories helped me get through the darkest time of my life. You reminded me I wasn't alone. That I wasn't crazy. That walking away wasn't weakness, it was strength. If you're reading this and going through something similar, here's what I'll say. Trust your instincts. Keep records. And remember, how you handle betrayal will always say more about your character than their lies ever could about yours. Life goes on. And if you let it, it can get better than you ever imagined. Eat it. Before I closed the account, I spoke to a lawyer. Wanted to make sure I was in the clear legally, and he confirmed I had every right to shut it down. So whether people think it was a jerk move or not, that's their opinion. But from a legal standpoint, rock solid. I closed the wedding account. That's it. That was the match. Christine had already made a bunch of non-refundable deposits with various vendors. Venue, caterer, dress fittings, all of it. Assuming she had access to that money. She didn't. She just thought she did. So when the account disappeared, her payments bounced. The vendors started calling. That carefully built facade of hers came crashing down all on its own. I didn't go out of my way to expose her or out her to anyone. I didn't email her boss or call her parents. All I did was pull my financial support from a relationship that turned out to be based on a lie. And the truth, well, it handled the rest. There are actually people suggesting I should have continued to support her financially through the transition period, even after discovering she was cheating on me. Really? Let me ask you this. Would you keep paying the bills for someone who was lying to your face and sneaking around behind your back? Look, respect isn't a one-way deal. You don't get to live like you're single and still cash in on the perks of being engaged. When Christine chose to play that double life, pretending to be unattached at work while enjoying the financial security I provided at home, she forfeited any claim she had to my help. You make your choices, and you live with them. You reap what you sow.